Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Williams' Return to Glory. In this episode, we are going to Baku and Montreal. I mentioned at the end of last episode we had some major regression on Daniel Ricciardo. He's now under 3.5 stars, which is a problem because now he's about even with what Vettel has. Vettel has 17 feedback, so he's still a valuable asset when it comes to practice, but Ricciardo has 14 feedback. Only thing that's really good about him is that he's got 95% marketability. But I do think that I'm going to go look at some replacements for Ricciardo. Alright, so potential replacement number one, Valtteri Bottas. He left last season in the middle of the year to go race for Toyota Gazoo. Currently, he's not had any podiums or wins, but he's been running pretty good. The only thing is that he is 34. His marketability is okay. His feedback's really good, but I'm scared of him potentially regressing. Alright, so option number two is Pierre Gasly. So Pierre is currently at McLaren. He is playing second fiddle to Lando Norris. Decent marketability, 4-star potential, goes up to about like 5, just a little bit above 4 stars. 14 feedback's okay. He's got one podium this year, but yeah, he's been a little bit underperforming compared to Lando Norris. I feel like it's potentially somebody that we could look at poaching. But he's good talent we could pick up here. He's, only got a little bit to break his contract. He's, overall just everything's okay. There's nothing glaring that's an issue here. Maybe even potentially we could pick up his current race engineer. Next choice is Théo Pourchaire, who's been in our team before. If we look through here, he's done 7 races for us previously. He did an incredible job. We had to let him go just because of circumstance, but 5-star potential, good marketability. He has he's racer. It's a really good trait where he gains 2 to everything during the race, which is just amazing. He's also considering offers with kind of how bad his morale is in the current team that he's in. So our final option here is Mick Schumacher. So Mick is currently 3.5 stars. That's his biggest drawback. He's really not fantastic, but he has a lot of potential. He's 98% marketability. Feedback's okay. Feedback's just very important for us to kind of do these practice sessions efficiently to where we can get multiple traits to where we can go on different strategies. And that's something I really, really, really like. So he's maybe on the list, but I'm going to come back with the driver that I think we should approach first. Alright, so I've decided to go after Théo Pourchaire. Just because he is currently upset at Alpine. He's the racer perk. Marketability is good. He's already been in our team. I thought about keeping him for this year, decided against it. We've had some problems with our drivers currently. We've pretty much swapped out the entire lineup if we are approaching somebody else to replace Ricciardo. So we're going to approach Théo Pourchaire. Alright, so Théo Pourchaire, this is the offer we're going to send him through. He's got extreme patience, so we're going to just try to use that a little bit to kind of do a couple things to hopefully get us in a favorable position for ourselves. We're going to do equal status, $20,000. It goes all the way up to 28, but we're going to try for 20. Contract length, we're just going for 19 months, just in case we decide to keep him for next year. We don't have to do any negotiating. Buyout clause, we're going to pay the $283,000. That's chump change for us. We're giving them 2.25 signing on fee, and then we have a very lofty goal of first place for $90,000. Alright, so looking at our pit crew, we're just going to do some rotation, and then we're going to look at the single hire we have available. So we went through, we've rotated the squad, and this is what we're looking like for the next race. Alright, so looking here at our mail screen, we just have stuff about Russell dominating, and then we have an interview with Will Buxton. Yes, which one of our drivers is better? We're just going to keep complimenting Tsunoda since he's going to be in the team. Alright, so we have our new rear wing in. It'll be mostly done before the next race, so it'll be on the car. It's 1475 current stats, got a 1515 max, so that'll be okay. It's not the best improvement, but it's something. And we're just going to work on the reliability and the engine as well that we weren't able to put in last week. It's going to go in the car, so we're looking good for next weekend. Right, so from the part design screen, current lowest I believe is the engine, but I think we're going to design another suspension just to do that, and then we're going to go on the engine for our next part. Right, so looking at part design here, we had two options. We could go with this, it gives us 1575 max. We go with this, it gives us a 1570 max. I'll take the hit on the 5 points to get 100% reliability, so this is going to be the part that's going to be built. I won't be done for the first race, but it'll definitely be done and ready to put on the car for the second one. Right, so for those interested in Formula 2, Nick Tandy gets the victory in Monaco, and then you have the two VAR boys right behind with Giovinazzi and Julian Canal. So that's your podium. We're going to scroll through and show the rest of these results. It looks like Nick Tandy has jumped ahead of Giovinazzi for the points lead. Those two are way ahead of the rest of the field. Mitch Evans, currently in third, only has 42 points. Like I mentioned before, just a good field spread all the way down here to the end. And then you only have two drivers at the bottom that have not scored. Looking at your teams, Van Amersfoort now are first. So they are doing a really good job. They had two guys on the podium, so that definitely added to their points there. As we see Trident currently in second. They had a good points day, but not the best, so they're still stuck in second. High Tech is right behind. They got about 20 points to Trident, and then 20 points behind them until Dams. And then you got a whole pack down here until 8th place, and then 9th through 11th are all teams kind of fighting at the back, but they don't have enough speed to kind of be up in contention for some real points. All right, so we have not met terms with Teo Porcher, so we're just going to adjust our stuff here. He's not happy with our current race payment, so we're going to try to give him 28, and we're going to try to pass this through. All right, so getting ready for Baku. Looks like we're going to only have 200,000. I feel like that's wrong. Tire selection is going to be 15, 10, 10. We went through and we've assigned the new parts, but we're going to move on to Baku. All right, so getting ready for practice. Unfortunately, this potentially could be the last race weekend we have with Daniel Ricciardo, which is really unfortunate. I love Daniel Ricciardo. I got to go with what's going to be competitive and make the hard decisions. It's probably not going to be the most popular decision, but we have to do it. Kind of like what McLaren's doing in real life. Uh, but yeah, we're going to go with Vettel and Ricardo for this session. We're going to focus on the softer compounds, so the soft and the super softs, because we have rain, bad rain, in both qualifying and race. Alright, so following practice, we had Vettel 10th, we had Ricardo 6th, and top of the board, as always, George Russell. So getting ready for qualifying, you see it's damp, but we have this little dry patch after about 9 minutes. So I think we're going to send them out while it's still wet, so we can still get our out lap done while it's damp, and then hopefully we can get a whole thing on the dry. But that's going to be our window there for our single lap that we're going to be able to do. Right, so Sonoda starts his lap. It is still damp, and now it is dry, so we're going to see where we're going to go in relation to everybody else. We're going to go 3rd and 4th. Right, so it stays wet, and we're going to get ourselves a 3rd and 4th place starting position. Alright, so getting ready for Baku, we have rain at about lap 22-ish, so we're going to put on the soft tires. We did not focus on the medium tires just because I thought we were going to have a lot more rain during this race. But that's the bet we're gonna make, that it's gonna start raining at about lap 22, and that we can kind of go on intermediates for a little bit, and then go immediately on to potentially a soft tire to the end, or something else. But yeah, we're gonna use soft tires, level 3, race trim, level 3. Car setups are 98, but perfect on the feedback. This is going to be our driver strategy, at least for a little bit. I know these tires kind of heat up a little bit quickly, so we might find ourselves kind of conserving throughout the run, but we're going to move on to the starting grid. Your starting grid for Baku, following a very wet qualifying, was George Russell, Lando Norris, Daniel Ricciardo, Yuki Tsunoda, Lewis Hamilton, Max Verstappen, Teo Porcher, Mick Schumacher, Sergio Perez, Oscar Piastri, Pierre Gasly, Charles Leclerc, Carlos Sainz, Liam Lawson, Fernando Alonso, Robert Schwartzman, Esteban Ocon, Dennis Hauger, Guan Yu Zhou, and Lance Stroll. Alright, so we have the 5 red lights. We are one of 4 on the track on the soft tire, so hopefully we can make these last, because if we can cut out a pit stop, have it go wet enough to where we can pit onto wet tires and gain some time, we're going to be sitting pretty here. But we're going to go fast forward through this. We're going to see how far we drop down, as Sonoda's all the way down to 11th already. That's not good to see. Ricardo holding steady in 3rd. Just got passed. He just got passed by 2 more cars. Remember, our engines are not the best for the field. We just developed one new engine that we just put in. I believe that's on Yuki's car. Alright, so we need to bring these guys onto neutral here, and we need to see if they can kind of manage their tire warmth here. We can hold it steady, that's fine in neutral, but we really need to focus on the fact that we might need to just put them on to conserve here for a little bit. So P8, P10. Looks like we're just with everyone else that we should be with. You know, right in between the front and the backpack. All right, tires actually are holding very well. So we're gonna go push and push. We're gonna push it up until it gets hot, and then we're gonna go back onto neutral. We're gonna healthily be able to get it to that halfway point. We see Russell's already gapped us by 33 seconds. That's insane. All right, we're gonna wait until these tires get close to hot, and then we're gonna put them on the neutral, let them die down a little bit throughout the run. All right, we got 9 laps of fuel on the car, so we're gonna put these guys both on high. I emptied a little bit of fuel. I only put 27 laps in for them, so I let them push. Yeah, it looks like they burned about 3 whole laps of fuel off the car here, so we're just going to keep an eye here. And you know what? We're actually going to go medium on the fuel, because we need to make sure that they can last until they get their pit stop. All right, we're going to conserve, because we're starting to get pretty low on the tire wear, and we're going to have rain here in the next couple minutes. As we see Sainz pits onto the intermediates on a dry racetrack, so that's going to tear those tires up. He's going to lose a lot of time. Norris does as well. Okay, it's starting to get damp. Alright, so we're going to go look, actually. We're going to keep an eye on the water here. And I think we're going to pit Ricardo in this lap. We're going to put him on intermediates, and I think also it's a good idea to pit Tsunoda as well. How many laps do we have left? We have 20 laps remaining. We're going to put about 27. We're going to put 27 laps of fuel in. We're going to go safe. We're going to do the same with Tsunoda. So pit, intermediates, fuel, 27, continue, pit strategy, safe. We're going to adjust his stuff to neutral. We're going to let him overtake. Alright, so we come out 8th and 9th. We have about a 5-second gap over cars behind us, but we're going to go full out attack for a little bit here. We'll let these tires heat up, because they already look like they're cooling down pretty massively coming out of the pits. We can use this to gain some time here. Before the track gets super dry, we're just gonna, you know, abuse these tires. All right, it looks like we already got really warm there. Go back on the neutral. We got 6 seconds to Lawson behind us. Keep an eye on this rain. We got Schwartzman that has just crashed. That's a yellow flag. All right, it is now damp. We're going to wait to see if any other people pit onto dry tires. All right, so we just got lapped there. We're going to go on attack and attack. And I think, since Ricardo... How far behind is Russell from Ricardo? I think to avoid a blue flag for Ricardo, I think we're going to pit him onto some dry tires to the end of the race. So we're going to pit him now onto a set of soft tires. We're not going to fill him up at all. We're just going to let him do this. We're going to go safe, but we're going to keep Sonoda out. We'll let him push out of the box as well. Alright, so Sonoda just got the warning that's maybe a little bit dry, so we're going to pit him onto the softs as well. Not going to do anything crazy here with the pit strategy. Going to let him push out of the box. We're just keeping an eye here on, so we get a blue flag for Ricardo. We're going to keep an eye here on Sonoda, and then once he gets really hot on his tires, we're just going to drop him onto neutral. Alright, we're going to go on a neutral with him. Ricardo in 8th. We have about 5 seconds on Hamilton, but Hamilton's going to be gaining on us closely here. Heading down towards the end of the race, we're not going to be able to catch Perez. Our main focus here should be Hamilton. So we're going to jump on board here with Sonoda. Just going to try to keep an eye on the fuel too, because once that excess fuel disappears, we're just going to put him on neutral. We get a safety car. So that's Perez, so that means we're going to be able to gain a spot here, but can we pit both of our cars? I think we're going to pit both of our cars onto a set of super soft tires. We have 4 laps remaining, so I think that's good. Maybe let's just take to move a lap. You know what? We're going to leave how much fuel we have in there. We're going to pit them safely. We're going to pit him here as well. I know we're going to lose a spot to Lewis, probably. We're going to go full backup on the tires, but we're going to let them still go overtake on the fuel. We're still ahead of Hamilton, and we have brand new, fresh, super soft tires on. So we're at the head of the queue here, so it looks like we are going to potentially get stuck in a blue flag mess here. Alright, so we're going to go on to neutral now, up until it starts to resume. Alright, so we are now going, and we're going to go full attack and overtake to the end of the race. We just got a whole bunch of blue flags there. That just screwed Sonoda over massively. Ricardo's all the way up to 7th. He's now down to 9th. We're battling 7th place with Pourchaire. Pourchaire managed to get up here and is able to compete with us. Oh, this is just massively unfortunate. We lost a spot there to Pourchaire at the very end. So a wet and wild Baku sees us get double points, but Pourchaire gets all the way up to 7th place due to some blue flag stuff, which is unfortunate. We were in a good position there to be able to gain. Sonoda immediately coming up on the restart got blue flagged. Had to fight Lewis and all these other people. Yuki got ahead of Daniel because of it as well. So Yuki gets his first points of the season. Your points for the race is Lawson, Ricardo, Sonoda, Pourchaire, Gasly, Verstappen, Carlos Sainz. Your podium, Norris, Leclerc, and your winner, George Russell. So looking at the driver standings, Zhou moves ahead of Lance. Vettel moves down, so does Schwartzman because Sonoda gets his 4 points. Ricardo's now on 14, so he has a point over Lawson. Your championship battle doesn't change that much. You got Norris still 82 points behind Norris. Sorry, you got Norris 82 points behind Russell. You got Leclerc, Verstappen, and even Sainz are still very, very close. You got Gasly and Perez and Hamilton kind of lagging behind their teammates. So, yeah, we're sitting in a good position still. We just need to be a little bit more competitive over these remaining races. All right, looking at the constructor standings, Ferrari are close enough to Mercedes to where if they can get both drivers on the podium, they're going to be able to, get up there and pass Mercedes. So if they're in a position maybe at the end of the year, we could see ourselves getting a different constructor champion than a driver's champion. Red Bull, said before, they're falling off a little bit. We are still in 5th, but we are closer to those behind us than we are to those in front of us. Hopefully we can continue to better our position throughout this year. Hopefully these car developments that we're doing helps us. AlphaTauri got points that last race when in reality I don't think they should have, but they did. Alpine got a whole bunch of points in that race due to the safety car stuff, but that is racing. There's a reason why you race, because you never know what's going to happen. So, yeah, we got a couple more races to go, and hopefully we can start to gap the AlphaTauris a little bit. So following Baku, we're going to gain $1 million. Alright, so looking at the driver negotiations, we have Porsche agreeing to a contract, so unfortunately we're going to get rid of Ricardo. Unfortunate, maybe not deserved, but just with his regression, I really just want to get somebody else in the seat that's going to be worth our time having in for the rest of the year, potentially into next year. So we're going to sign Teo Porsche. Alright, so looking at our pit crew, we're just going to do some rotation and potentially hire some new people. So I've tried my best to kind of get the mistake percentage down, but yeah, we're in a position to where this is going to be very hard. We're going to have to be signing some new people pretty often. We hired 2 new people, but for the standard that we have in our team, it's hard to do that and still maintain kind of, you know, a decent rating. But, you know, it's going to cost us with the mistake percentages, so it seems like we're going to mostly have to do safe pit stops. Alright, so we have stuff about Russell, how he's been just obliterating the field. We got questions from NBC. Leclerc's agent has been telling reporters all over town that you're interested in signing his client up. Sure, I mean, why not? Okay, he's open to discussing terms with us. Just wanted to also show, we have stuff about the pit crew review. Just wanted to show you. Got Ricardo upset. Got Porsche signed, and then there's the news story that we got Porsche to sign for our team. So in a crazy move here, Alpine goes and picks up Nico Hülkenberg. So we have Hulken back in F1, the 37-year-old. Let's go look at his stats. He's not terrible. I mean, he's pretty good, to be fair. Yeah, 31-month contract. That's a lot there for a 37-year-old. Right, so we have our new suspension in. It's 1555 current, and then it's got a 1595 cap. It'll be done 4 days after the race, but hopefully has enough reliability to go on the car. Okay, so from the design a part screen, it looks like we are currently behind on the engines, mostly focusing on the average of the grid, but it's really interesting the fact that we're 5th currently, 5th best car, but we are, I feel like this is the most we've struggled since last year, where last year we were considered the 8th to 7th best car, so that's fairly interesting, but we're going to go ahead and build another engine. Right, so from part design, we have an interesting thing to do here with our engine. So we see down here we have a top speed plus 30 that we could potentially get. This gives us 100% reliability straight off the bat. We have that means we can immediately get this done, get it put directly on the car, or we could do this, which gives us more immediate performance but the same cap. I think we're gonna just go with the one with the more reliability, just so we can put it on the car immediately. And then next time we go around, we're going to do the risk level tree, and then we'll do the plus 30. Right, so getting ready for Canada, we're going to go, we don't have any sponsors to select. I don't know why this keeps showing up like this. I feel like it's going to be wrong, but we're going to do 15, 10, 10 on the tires. We applied the new suspension to Porsche's car, so we're going to move on to Montreal. Alright, so unfortunately here in practice, it does not look like we're going to be able to get any dry tire stuff done. So this is going to be purely down to kind of what the traits are that we have with our mechanics, which with us just getting Porsche into the team, and him, you know, only having a couple weeks previous with one of the race engineers, he doesn't have any unlocks, so this is going to be more difficult than usual to kind of be able to move through the field. So yeah, we're going to skip through practice. Alright, so looking at practice, it's cool to see Hulkenberg back in the field. We have Vettel 13th, we have Porsche 8th, and the top of the board is George Russell. Alright, so looking at qualifying, since we're unable to focus on any dry tires, we only have qualifying trim level 2. We have intermediate tires, but It's going to be dry for a good portion of the session here, so we're just going to send them out immediately on dry tires, see what they can do, and then we're going to send them back out later, as late as possible, to set another time on some dry compound tires. Alright, so Pourchaire is going to start his second lap here. We're going to potentially be falling down the field pretty hard here. Sonoda's up his first sector. He's up his second sector. And Pourchaire improves, but we're going to stay 8th and 9th. Alright, since I don't have any knowledge about any of the tires and how they work on this racetrack, I'm going to assume and go for the safest bet, which is the medium tire, to do a one-stop. I'm pretty sure that we're going to be able to do a one-stop with the medium tire. It's just whether or not if it goes past halfway. We have Sonoda on light-footed medium tires as well, so he should be able to go even longer. My hope is that it'll just be a quick, easy pit halfway, go onto the medium tires again, and a bunch of people have to two-stop, but we don't know. So, yeah, we're just kind of going into this race with a big unknown on what to do here. Setup-wise, we're 98. I don't think I saved the setups for these either. Let me do that real quick. But yeah, we're gonna push very hard these first couple laps, kind of see how quick the temperature rises up, and then see if it's gonna be easy to get those temperatures down. But we're gonna move on to the starting grid. So your starting grid for Canada is George Russell, Charles Leclerc, Carlos Sainz, Lando Norris, Max Verstappen, Pierre Gasly, Sergio Perez, Teo Pourchaire, Yuki Tsunoda, Lewis Hamilton, Liam Lawson, Dennis Hauger, Nico Hulkenberg, Robert Schwartzman, Fernando Alonso, Guan Yu Zhou, Esteban Ocon, Mick Schumacher, Oscar Piastri, and Lance Stroll. So here are the 5 red lights. So a lot of people are on these soft tires around us, so we're just going to go 4 times speed here and kind of see what happens with our tire warmth. But we're going to skip forward ahead. Pourchaire moves all the way up to 3rd place here, so he's doing a fantastic job. Alright, so tire temperatures are going very hard, so we're going to just put them onto neutral. We're going to see what everyone else is doing. So a lot of pushing and conserving, but hopefully we can kind of just stay neutral here on the tires and not have to worry about them too much. It looks like the temperatures are going down. Yeah, the temperatures are going down, so we're going to let him push until he gets really close to overheating his tires, and then we're going to put him onto neutral. We're going to put Tsunoda. We're going to kind of see what everyone else is doing. That's right, we didn't even mess with the fuel, so we're just going to let them push until the pit stop. Then we'll decide what we're going to do with the fuel. So lap 23 is the lap that we want to get to. We are still currently sitting in 4th with Pourchaire, so this is probably one of our most competitive performances at the moment. We're going to put both cars onto neutral here and let them run down the temperature in the tire, as hopefully everyone around us pits and puts us in a good position here. So Tsunoda is in 9th, so Tsunoda is currently our worst car, but he's behind all the very competitive cars, but we are behind only 3 very competitive cars at the moment with Pourchaire. And we're ahead of both Red Bulls with Pourchaire, so we're doing a fantastic job with him. Pourchaire is actually looking like he is very close to being able to make it on a one-stop, but he is ticked under 50% before we were supposed to, so it looks like Tsunoda is actually sitting in the best position here. Tsunoda is actually going to be able to do the one stop probably the easiest. So we're going to put Pourchaire onto neutral here. Need to get Pourchaire to last until that pit window opens in a couple laps here. we're not looking that good on Pourchaire to make that strategy work. We're going to let him keep ruining the tires. So we're going to just have him conserve and hopefully not drop down so much that he's going to lose a bunch of places here. We're going to use Sonoda as our guide on what to do with Pourchaire. So we're going to pit Sonoda 1 lap after we pit Pourchaire. So we just started lap 23. So we're going to go 1-time speed here. We're going to wait until he crosses the line. And we're going to tell him to pit onto a set of medium tires. And we are going to give him 20... How many laps can we give him? 24 laps remaining when we pit. I say we just give him a full tank. Let him go hard. Alright, we're going to give him a safe pit stop. Sonoda... We're going to make Sonoda go around one more time. We're going to put him onto neutral, actually. Alright, so Sonoda just hit halfway. We're going to tell him to pit now onto these. We're going to fill up his tank. We're going to go safe, and then we're going to make him attack in. So Pourchaire drops all the way down to 8th place. We're going to see where Sonoda ends up. We're going to have him go on a neutral out of the box. We're going to watch Pourchaire. Pourchaire is 7 seconds ahead of Sonoda. So we are still up and amongst the top runners here, but hopefully we don't have to make another pit stop. So we just need to keep an eye on the fuel here to make sure it doesn't go below excess fuel. Because if it goes below excess fuel, we're going to be in danger of running out at the end, which is no bueno. So we have Gasly pitting. Gasly is now 2 seconds behind Pourchaire, so it looks like Pourchaire is going to be in danger of getting passed by him later. So we're starting to get low on the temperature, but we're going to let them sit there. So we have 13 laps remaining. Alright, so we're going to make them push for... We're going to let them attack for a lap. Doesn't matter really for Sonoda, but we need to get the temperature back up with Pourchaire. Probably a really stupid idea, but... Alright, so we're going to go back onto neutral with Pourchaire. We're going to let Sonoda push just a little bit extra. Let him push until he's about midway in the heated part, and then we're going to let him go on to neutral. Alright, so Sonoda's on to neutral now. Fuel is still good. Pourchaire is in 4th place here. Got fresh tires behind us. He's in danger either way. I don't see us being able to hold off everyone behind us at the moment, so we're going to need some intervention here from something to help us. Seven laps remaining. We're going to let Sonoda push until the end. We're going to let his tires stay cold because he's going to be struggling anyways at the end here. So the tires are gone. We're going to let Sonoda keep pushing. So we're currently in 6th and 7th place. We're on 2 laps remaining. So we're going to just go full attack on our final lap here with Pourchaire to get temperature in the tires. Or not. It's not a smart idea. That's not a smart idea. We shouldn't have done that. No. Bad. Alright, so we're full attack here. We have Gasly right behind Sonoda. Need to hold him off here. Tires from overheating. Perez is still ahead, but Pourchaire is still in 6th, and we're going to finish 6th and 8th. Alright, so looking at the results from Montreal, we have Hauger at the bottom. He got demoted 2 places, so he would have finished 18th, but drops down to 20th, so that's unfortunate, but really doesn't matter. Hulkenberg gets 15th on his return to F1. Your points are Hamilton, Gasly. We get Sonoda in 8th. He gets 4 points. You got Perez. You got Pourchaire in 6th, so he gets 8 points. You got Sainz, Verstappen, your podium, Leclerc, Norris, your winner, Russell. So we have 22 drivers that have registered for an F1 race this year. We have Ricardo listed as a free agent since we got rid of him and replaced him with Pourchaire. It would be cool if someone picked him up. I feel bad for getting rid of him, but felt like it was worth it, and I feel like the result that we just got is kind of indicative of that. I don't think we would have had Ricardo up there fighting. I think Ricardo would have fallen behind Sonoda there at the end, since Sonoda had that little trait that helped him. Vettel, 15th place still, so we're going to still put him in at the end or something, just try to give him a good send-off. Yeah, we have now 7 drivers at the bottom who have not scored points. Hulkenberg at the bottom of that. Joe moved up to 19th. Pourchaire moves ahead of Lawson. Ricardo with his points total of 17. Some of those are from us, some of them are not. Top of the board, Russell's just spanking the field, but we have a tight battle between the 2nd to 5th place cars. And then you have Gasly, Perez, Hamilton, then us. And we are, have a small lead over of Lawson. So looking at your Constructors' Championships, we have Ferrari 30 points behind Mercedes. It's kind of similar to what they had last round. It's just going to stay even there unless they can start getting both cars on the podium, getting them ahead of Norris and the McLaren. McLaren are just a little bit behind Ferrari, but I feel like they're going to struggle to be able to even surpass Ferrari. Red Bull are behind McLaren, but like I said, it seems like it's going to be very difficult for them to catch McLaren. We now are starting to get a decent gap over AlphaTauri, so hopefully we can continue to grow that over the next couple of races. Aston and Haas have still not scored points this year. We took Alpine's we took one of Alpine's drivers. Now they have a new driver in, but they seem to be struggling these last couple weeks. Outside of the first race where Pourchaire, who is now for our team, got ahead of us at the end of the race. So yeah, just a all over the place battle, and I really hope Ferrari can get up there and challenge Mercedes. Alright, so with us getting rid of Ricardo and signing Pourchaire, we're saving ourselves about $400,000 a week, so we're going to take home about $1.45 million. Alright, so that concludes today's episode. Russell just obliterating the field, 8 wins so far. Norris is the only one that's able to be even remotely close with his one. We signed Pourchaire from Alpine. Alpine pick up Hulkenberg, so Hulken back. So we have 4 spots on the Drivers' Championship page because we've had kind of bouncing around of different drivers. We demoted Vettel, we fired Ricardo, we brought back Pourchaire. So yeah, just driver movements all over the place. Cool to see Hulkenberg back. Hopefully Ricardo can end up somewhere, but I feel like that's unlikely. We had a okay first race. I feel a little disappointed with the result out of that, but it was still a decent result. And then the second race was amazing. That's the results that I was kind of expecting throughout the year. Maybe getting one of those every 3 or so races, but yeah, it was a really good haul for us that race. So if you liked today's episode, like, comment, subscribe, all that dumb YouTube stuff, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your week.